Welcome to the Stories Unheard channel. If you're feeling like there's no justice in the world, listen to the story of Liam Smith and how he learned the truth about his wife and made her pay for her mistake. Liam's daughter Jenny came into his study and asked him to come to school and meet her new teacher. Her old teacher's husband had a heart attack, so she would have to stay home and take care of him for the rest of the school year. "It's too bad. I liked your old teacher," Liam replied. "But can't your mom meet your new teacher at the next PTA meeting?" He continued, "I'd rather have you meet her." "Mom has been acting weird lately," Jenny objected. Liam was a businessman, and although he always had a heavy workload, he also had the ability to move things around and free some time for his daughter. However, being a stay-at-home mom, his wife Jessica was responsible for most of the duties pertaining to their daughter, except for picking her up from school. That was one thing that Liam always did himself, as he wanted to make sure he had some alone time with his daughter. Liam and Jessica had been married for 14 years and had been raising their daughter together for 10 of them. But Jenny was right. Jessica really had been acting weird lately, which couldn't go unnoticed by her husband. The last time she acted that way, she was pregnant with Jenny. Jessica came home a bit later, claiming she had to run some errands, and headed straight for the shower. She'd been doing that a lot, twice or even 3 times a week. Liam didn't think much of it at the time. He loved his wife and trusted her blindly, believing that they had a perfect family. The next day, when Liam went to pick Jenny up from school, he went inside to meet her teacher. Miss Swan turned out to be very young and attractive, which took Liam by surprise. So much so that he didn't even immediately realize that she was addressing him. "Mr. Smith, it's a pleasure to meet you. Sorry for asking you to come in, but since I'm new here, I wanted to introduce myself to all the parents. Jenny is bright, funny, and very responsible. You should be proud of her." "That I am, Miss Swan. She is my angel and my best friend," Liam replied proudly. "That's great to hear. What I wanted to talk to you about was your involvement in Jenny's school life. I believe that it's very important for children to see their parents participate in school events, but you never sign up for any projects or charity events. I'm afraid Jenny might feel left out. Doesn't being on PT count?" Liam asked, surprised. "It sure does. Are you on PTA?" Miss Swan tried to clarify. "Well, I am not, but my wife is. She's attending all those meetings every Wednesday." "She never missed one," Liam explained. "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. I think you might be a bit confused here. PTA meetings are held on Tuesdays, every other week." Liam's face changed before the young teacher's eyes. "You're probably right. I'm always so busy at work, I must have had the days mixed up in my head." Liam tried to rectify the situation. "All right then, Mr. Smith. I hope to see you and your wife get more involved in the school activities from now on." Having said goodbye to Jenny's teacher, Liam and his daughter headed for the car. He didn't say a single word on their way home, lost in his thoughts. He didn't want to believe his first instinct, but he did have to find out what his wife was up to. Jessica claimed to have joined the PTA over 3 months ago, but it turned out that she was going somewhere else every Wednesday. After they got home, Liam was pulled out of his thoughts by a phone call from his friend Roger. The worried husband immediately asked him, "Hey Roger, remember when you thought your wife was cheating on you? What agency did you use to tail her?" Roger expressed his concern and promised to forward all the details to Liam. Liam called the agency immediately and set up a meeting for the next day. As he went in and met the PI, he felt very uneasy about what he was about to do, but the man was a professional and immediately dispelled all of Liam's doubts. "Trust me, if you suspect something, you won't be able to just let it go. You need to know the truth. If you don't do it now, you'll just come back to me later." Liam realized that the PI was probably right. He wouldn't be able to just let it go and trust his wife blindly like he did before. Thus, Liam gave the PI his wife's phone number and her license plate number and shared all the information he knew about her schedule. This endeavor would cost the businessman dearly, but he knew that he couldn't do otherwise. Moreover, if his wife really was cheating, he'd have proof, which would definitely be an advantage in the event of a divorce. The PI got all the information and promised to get back to Liam with the first report in a week's time. That day, Jessica came home exceptionally cheerful and tried to get attention from Liam, but he couldn't force himself to pretend that everything was fine. He excused himself, claiming to be swamped with work, and stayed in his study until she went to bed. The next day, he got up earlier than usual and went to work before Jessica got up to help Jenny get ready for school, but Jessica called him before he even got to his office. "Hey, honey, why did you leave without saying goodbye today? Are you mad at me or something?" "No, Jessica, I'm not mad. Everything's fine." "I just have a lot of work." Liam did his best to keep his emotions in check. "But you always kiss me in the morning and tell me you love me. We've been married for 14 years, and I think this is the first morning you didn't do it." Jessica sounded worried. "I'm sorry. I'll make sure to never forget it again," Liam said, trying to avoid turning this situation into a fight. He didn't have any proof yet, so he wanted to make sure they stayed on good terms for now. "Okay, Liam. I hope you really are all right. I also wanted to remind you that it's Wednesday, so I'll be going to the PTA meeting today." "I remember, Jessica. Don't worry," Liam replied before hanging up. After that, Liam called his aunt and asked for the name of her lawyer. She'd recently divorced her husband, and her lawyer was a real shark who got her everything she wanted from that divorce and even more. Liam wanted to be prepared for whatever would come next, so he called up the lawyer, Olivia Young, and made sure he'd be able to retain her services if need be. Miss Young gave Liam a list of documents he'd need to prepare if he decided to proceed with the divorce. She also mentioned that he should make a detailed description of how Liam and Jessica share the responsibilities of taking care of their daughter. After that, he finally managed to get some work done before going to pick Jenny up from school. He took her to get some ice cream, and they went home to cook dinner. Jenny disappeared into her room while Liam made them steaks. When Jessica came home, she headed straight for the shower, as she always did, and then came into the kitchen, attracted by the delicious smell. Trying to avoid a confrontation, Liam quickly said that he didn't think she'd be hungry, so he didn't cook a steak for her. Then he went into his study, not even waiting for Jessica's response. The woman could feel that something was off, but she couldn't figure out what, so she made herself a quick salad and ate it alone in the kitchen. Liam made sure to go to bed before Jessica did, so he could pretend to be asleep by the time she got there and thus avoid having to talk to her. The next morning, he kept his distance, while Jessica tried to act as if everything was fine. Jenny also started to sense that something was off between her parents. She even tried asking them what was going on, but they both brushed her off. As they all headed out, Liam dropped Jenny off at school and went to his office. He couldn't concentrate on work, as his head was full of all kinds of scenarios. He kept imagining getting the call from his PI and learning that Jessica indeed was cheating on him. He tried to imagine his emotions and feelings, and more importantly, his next steps. He thought about how to protect Jenny from all of this and make sure she had both parents in her life, no matter what. He also tried imagining other reasons that could explain Jessica's strange behavior and what it would feel like to learn that he was wrong. But what could it be? Could she have a gambling problem? Or a drinking problem? Where could she be going? And why would she keep it a secret? Liam couldn't help himself. He couldn't stop thinking about it. He needed to learn the truth as soon as possible. The next couple of days, Liam picked Jenny up from school, dropped her off at home, and went back to the office as soon as Jessica arrived. He claimed to be swamped with work, but in reality, he simply wanted to avoid his wife until he got the report from his PI. He also used that time to prepare everything the lawyer would need, just in case. A week later, he finally got a package from the PI. It had a flash drive and some printout photos. Liam was right. Jessica was cheating. She was cheating on him with John Lewis, her ex-boyfriend, whom she dumped when she met Liam. At that point, Liam wasn't even surprised or disappointed. He was ready for it. He made copies of the flash drive and the photos and sent them to his lawyer along with all the documents. The divorce was set in motion. The lawyer also suggested suing the boyfriend for alienation of affection, as it was still a thing in their state. Thus, he would also suffer consequences for his actions. Liam agreed. "Okay, Mr. Smith, I should have the papers ready in a couple of days. Try not to let your wife know anything until then. We can use the element of surprise to our advantage," Olivia Young said. 3 days later, the divorce papers were ready. Liam took Jenny on a weekend trip out of the city, but he made sure that Jessica had no idea where they were going. When she came home Friday night, she found the house empty. There was an envelope with the divorce papers and a note attached to it lying on the dining room table. "Hope you and John have a wonderful life together. But to make sure you don't, I'm suing you for everything we have, as well as full custody of our daughter. I have all the proof, so rest assured I will win this case. I'm also suing John. Get your things out of the house by Sunday night. Your soon-to-be ex-husband." Jessica stood in the middle of the room and couldn't help but start crying. Only then did she realize how much she loved her husband and daughter and how devastated she would be to lose them. But it was too late. No matter how much she tried to apologize, Liam went through with the divorce. Since Jessica had been acting weird for a while, Jenny didn't want to live with her, and when asked by the judge, she chose to live with her father, while all Jessica got were weekend visits with her daughter. Liam did everything he could to help his daughter adjust to their new life, but he never doubted himself or regretted his decision. If you enjoyed this story, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click on the notifications bell so as not to miss out on our new stories.